Opening the border's vertical bar, Israel ramps up military presence at the Egyptian border, and Netanyahu's real plan for mass relocation exposed. Yo, what's up, fam? Big shout out to my worldwide family. If this is your first time tuning in, we're honored to have you. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe, and welcome to the crew. All right, let's get into it. Some serious news just dropped. Real talk. Nobody's being straight with you about what Israel is really trying to pull off in Gaza. Like, yeah, they'll tell you Israel moved in with the 36th Division, took control of the Philadelphi corridor, and forced a bunch of Palestinians into the Al-Mawasi area. But what's the actual game plan? What's the end goal? Well, a wild article just dropped in the Wall Street Journal, and it exposes Israel's real strategy, straight from the new Israeli army chief, Eyal Zamir. This article spills everything. If you read it, you'll be shocked at what Israel's planning. It's a full-blown disaster, not just for them, but for their army, and honestly, the whole region. But what really caught my eye? The very last paragraph. The writer says, Eyal Zamir, yeah, that's the new Israeli chief of staff. He's not just backed by Netanyahu. Nah. He's got support from Donald Trump, too. Trump apparently removed all the restrictions Joe Biden had put on the Israeli army when it comes to their operations in Gaza. Trump's fully backing Zamir. That's crazy. This isn't just some random update. It's packed with info that'll blow your mind. Israel's planning a major move in Gaza. And get this, are they actually prepping for a war with Egypt too? Are they really about to go through with forced displacement? Or are they going to back out last minute? A lot of questions, a lot of dangerous talk. But to understand it all, I gotta give you the full story, start to finish. So, the Wall Street Journal article caused a massive stir. Big media outlets picked it up, CNN, others too. What they're reporting? Israel's heading into this Gaza war with a whole new mindset. Why? Because over the last 18 months of fighting with Hamas, military leaders kept telling Netanyahu, you can't wipe out Hamas with just military force. You need a political solution. They said military ops won't bring the hostages back and won't destroy Hamas. Hamas is an idea now. You can't just bomb it away. Even American advisors told the Israeli military the same thing. They were like, yo, we tried this in Somalia, in Mogadishu. It was a mess and it didn't work. You can't kill an idea. So Israeli army leaders kept clashing with Netanyahu over this. That's why he fired the defense minister and the previous army chief. Replaced them with people who'd go along with his plan, like Israel Katz as defense minister and Eyal Zamir as the army chief. Zamir's 59 and he's not your usual army guy. Most of Israel's top brass come from special forces or airborne units. But Zamir, he's a tank commander. Dude's old school, armored corps. Anyway, he pitched Netanyahu a whole new plan to deal with Hamas, a plan that'd take care of the problem, as he put it. Zamir, who was previously the deputy chief of staff, is super close to Netanyahu. His hardcore stance on Iran and his aggressive approach in Gaza and the West Bank made him a favorite with Israel's right-wing politicians. His resume's stacked. He's run operations in the Southern Command, led intense strikes on Palestinian factions, and played a big role in prepping for northern threats like Hezbollah. So despite being 59, Netanyahu loved his plan. What's Zamir's plan? It's all about an all-out ground invasion. See, for 18 months, Israel's been using special forces tactics. Get in, hit a target, get out. No holding territory. Just intel-led raids, surgical strikes, relying on tech to take out Hamas leaders. But Zamir? He told Netanyahu, nah man, we need to go all in. We hold the ground, clear it, and stay. No more in-and-out raids. We're doing this old school. Alright, listen up. This hit-and-run special forces style, that ain't it anymore. We can't just go in, hit a target, and dip. We gotta go in and stay. Like full occupation mode. What does that mean? No more relying on just tech. Yeah, tech helped Ukraine hold out against Russia for a while. Drones, smart targeting, they got some good results. But look how it ended up. Ukraine's losing ground. Russia's still advancing. Why? Not because of tech, but because they've got massive numbers of troops. So Eyal Zamir tells Netanyahu, we need a full-on ground assault, massive troop numbers. No more just drone strikes or air raids. Real boots on the ground are going to decide this war. And here's the kicker. We don't just go in, blow stuff up and bounce. Nope, We go in, take control, and stay. Why? Because last time there was a ceasefire, like a 2-month break, Hamas came back strong. They were flexing, coming out of tunnels like they were chillin'. They were moving freely as soon as the Israeli troops pulled back, so Zamir's like, we can't let that happen again. We're gonna take that ground and never give it back. Now look, I'm not saying this guy's a genius or hyping him up. I'm just showing you how this dude thinks. It's important to understand the mindset behind all this. So what's Zamir's plan really about? He wants to send 5 full army divisions into Gaza. Yeah, you heard that right, 5. That's huge. Israel's entire army only has 7 divisions total. He wants to send almost the whole army into Gaza and lock it down. His idea is to split Gaza into super small zones, almost like blocks, so they can monitor and control everything. That's the military plan he pitched to Netanyahu, according to the Wall Street Journal. Now, just recently, Netanyahu went public with a big statement. We now control the Muwaraj corridor, which he says will become the second Philadelphia axis. He also said Israel is turning up the heat on Hamas until all hostages are brought back. And you know what? Netanyahu loved this plan, told Zamir, you're the only one who gets it. All those guys before you? Clueless, but you're the man. But here's the thing. This plan? It's actually trash from a military strategy point of view. American outlets like the New York Times are calling it a suicide mission. Why? Because Zamir wants Israeli troops to stay in Gaza for months, maybe till the end of the year. That's 5 out of 7 divisions stuck in Gaza for ages. That'll bleed Israel's $30 billion defense budget dry. It'll burn through the reserve troops, and let's be real, they're already fed up and don't want to be there. It's going to wreck the Israeli economy even more than it already is, and it could kill the hostages. Former hostages told Israeli media that every time the military stepped up attacks, their lives got worse, and they were close to death. So more pressure? That ain't going to bring them home. It'll probably get them killed. And remember, Israel already tried for 18 months to get those hostages out through military force. It didn't work. Now they're about to run it back? For what, 6 more months? A whole year? It's a disaster waiting to happen. So why's Netanyahu still hyped about it? According to the New York Times, it's not about winning the war. Netanyahu doesn't actually believe this will destroy Hamas. He knows Hamas is an idea, not just a militia. You can't just bomb an idea. Nope. The real reason Bibi's loving this plan? It keeps the war going. And as long as the war is active, he's got the far-right wing of his coalition happy. Guys like Ben Gvir, they're back in government, backing him hard. It helps him pass the budget and keeps him holding on to total power for a few more months. And with the ground invasion, that gives him the cover to start forcibly relocating Palestinians. See, once Gaza's chopped up into little zones, Israel can control everything. Who moves where, who gets aid, everything. That narrow stretch between Rafah and Khan Yunis? It's not just a road anymore. It's now a strategic weapon. Same with the Philadelphia corridor near Egypt. Once Israel took over the Muwaraj axis, Gaza was officially split in 3. North Gaza and Jabalia, already a wiped-out buffer zone. South Gaza, Khan Yunis, and Rafah, completely locked down via the Muwaraj corridor. Central Gaza, Deir al-Balah and al-Maghazi, trapped between 2 fire zones. And now Netanyahu's bragging. We control the Fatal corridor, we took over the Netzari corridor in the north, and yesterday we secured Muwaraj too. Translation? Rafah crossing is shut. Humanitarian aid can't come through Egypt anymore. The only one in charge of aid into Gaza now? The Israeli army. They control it, they distribute it, they decide who eats and who doesn't. That's real power, and that's the scary part. Alright, so here's the deal. Philadelphia II isn't just a name, it's the next step. Israel's chopping up Gaza piece by piece, tightening the grip, putting on more pressure day after day until Hamas gives up the hostages. The more they refuse, the more the heat gets cranked up. And here's where it gets real dark. Once Israel locks everything down and has total control, things are going to get ugly. First, Palestinians are going to be boxed in tighter than ever. Life, which is already hell, is about to get worse. Way worse. Second, expect even more massacres, like more than ever. Why? Because Donald Trump basically gave Netanyahu the green light. Do whatever the hell you want. Civilian deaths? Doesn't matter anymore. We're talking over 5,500 killed in Gaza already, and no one's even blinking. Trump's backing him hard, handing over whatever weapons Bibi asks for. No questions asked. That's the scariest part. But it gets worse. There was this wild article in Yedioth Ahronoth commenting on Trump's latest statements. A reporter asked him straight up, "Are you still down for relocating Palestinians out of Gaza?" And he straight up said, "Yeah, I still support that plan. Think about that." Trump's publicly saying he's cool with ethnic cleansing. That statement just dropped while I was filming this. No sugarcoating it. He's down for forced displacement. So now, forget about any Arab peace plan. Forget Egypt's mediation. That's all off the table. Now you're probably wondering, with Israel digging itself in this deep, are they prepping for a war with Egypt? Honestly, I doubt it. With Al Zamir's insane plan to keep 5 full divisions tied down in Gaza for months, the Israeli army's going to be exhausted. They're not in any shape to open up another front with Egypt. You might say, yo, but Israel hit Hezbollah in Lebanon while fighting in Gaza, right? Yeah, but Lebanon was a different situation. Back then, before striking Hezbollah, Israel had already wiped out most of their leadership with airstrikes, took down a lot of their fighters too. And that Gaza operation? It was mostly small, special missions, not full-blown war like we're seeing now. That made it easy for them to pull a few units and send them north, like Division 36. But now, whole different game, way bigger scale, way more troops. So, nah, I don't think this means they're gearing up for war with Egypt. Just so we're clear, I don't think a military conflict with Egypt is coming anytime soon. But what is coming? Mass displacement. Not necessarily to Egypt at first, but to other countries. Israel wants to push out up to 1 million Palestinians from Gaza. We're talking Indonesia, Germany, Somalia, Somaliland, you name it. That's where the voluntary relocation plan kicks in. But let's be real, it ain't all that voluntary. They've already moved 100 Palestinians from Gaza to Indonesia to work in construction. That's step one. But the real problem? The 700,000 people who'll be left behind. Those are the ones that'll become the flashpoint between Israel and Egypt. According to leaks, Netanyahu has already tasked the Mossad chief with coordinating this whole relocation plan, reaching out to other countries to take in big numbers of displaced Gazans. This is serious. Meanwhile, Bibi's also trying to rebuild settlements inside Gaza, and fast. He wants them up and running as soon as possible. On the Egyptian side, there's some solid movement. French President Emmanuel Macron is coming to El Arish, planning to check out humanitarian aid centers for Gaza. The Élysée Palace said Macron's flying in this Sunday with a whole delegation. He's meeting Egypt's president, Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, to talk about the Arab plan to rebuild Gaza, and they're expected to sign some major deals too in transport, healthcare, and green energy. Then Macron's heading to Al Arish port, where he'll meet aid groups and security officials, showing France is serious about stopping the violence and helping with the food crisis in Gaza. He's even scheduled to visit European and French peacekeeping forces who were supposed to deploy in Rafah during the ceasefire, if Hamas and Israel had agreed to phase 2 of the truce. Now don't get it twisted, these aren't tank-rolling troops. They're lightly armed peacekeepers, like the ones Egypt used to have in Gaza back in the day. Anyway, Macron's gonna check them out too. Thanks a ton for watching this. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss the next one. At X News, we're here to keep it real and give you the facts. See y'all in the next video.